Hello children, in today's class we are going to learn nutrition in human beings. So food is one of the basic requirement of all the living organisms. Food provide energy and organic material for the growth and repair of all the tissues. The major component of our food are carbohydrates, proteins, fats and small quantities of vitamins and minerals. The water plays a very important crucial role in metabolic processes and also prevent the dehydration of our body. So food cannot be utilized by our body in their original form. So it is very necessary to break down the food material and convert it into the simple substances. This process of conversion of complex food substances into simple absorbable forms is known as a process of digestion. I am going to repeat the definition of digestion. The process of conversion of complex food substances into simple absorbable forms is known as digestion. This process is carried out by our digestive system by mechanical and biochemical methods. So in case of human nutrition in human beings takes place in the digestive system. It consists of alimentary canal and glands which produce enzymes which break down the food into the smaller molecules. Then the main organs of digestive system are mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine and anus. The main glands are salivary glands, gastric glands, liver, pancreas and intestinal glands. In case of human digestive system, so this is the wide view of both the diagrams. The human digestive system include two parts, alimentary canal and associated glands also. The alimentary canal begin with an anterior opening, that is mouth, and it opens out posteriorly through the anus. Then mouth opens into the buccal cavity or oral cavity. The oral cavity has number of teeth and muscular tongue also. Along with that, in case of tongue, the oral cavity opens into the tongue is a freely movable muscular organ attached to the floor of an oral cavity. The oral cavity opens into a short pharynx. The esophagus is a food pipe and trachea, that is a windpipe, open into pharynx. The cartilaginous flap is known as a epiglottis, which prevent the entry of food into glottis during the swallowing. The glottis is an opening of windpipe. Then in case of pharynx acts as a common passage for food and air. It is about 10 to 14 centimeter vertical and behind the buccal cavity. Pharynx has a three parts, that is nasopharynx, which is a nasal portion, oropharynx, which is a oral portion, and laryngopharynx. It is a lower part of the pharynx which lies below the upper edges of epiglottis. Next is the esophagus. The esophagus is a thin, long tube about 25 centimeter in length. It extends posteriorly, passing through the neck, thorax and diaphragm, and leads to a J-shaped bag-like structure which is known as a stomach. Now next is a stomach. Stomach is a muscular sphincter, regulates the opening of esophagus into the stomach. The stomach located in the upper left portion of the abdominal cavity. So these are the first diagram. Right now I am explaining this first diagram. Next to stomach there is a small intestine. Small intestine is divided into three parts: C-shaped duodenum, a long coiled middle portion, that is jejunum, and a highly coiled ileum. So ileum opens into the large intestine. Next is a large intestine. Large intestine consists of three parts, that is cecum, colon and rectum. Cecum is a small blind sac which hosts some symbiotic microorganisms. The cecum opens into the colon. Its length is about 6 centimeter. Vermiform appendix is a narrow finger-like tubular projection arise from the cecum. Then the colon divided into the main three parts, that is ascending colon, transverse colon and descending colon. The descending part open into the rectum and rectum opens through the anus. So, this is all about the first diagram. Now, let us study the second diagram in detail. So, in case of mouth, the food is broken down into the smaller particles by the teeth and mixed with the saliva from the salivary glands. Saliva contains the enzyme salivary amylase, which converts the starch into the sugar molecule. Then the food passes through the esophagus into the stomach. Next is the stomach. The gastric glands produce gastric juice, which contains the enzyme pepsin, hydrochloric acid and mucus. Pepsin breaks down proteins. Hydrochloric acid make the medium acidic and helps in the action of pepsin. This acidic medium also helps in killing the unwanted microorganisms which are present in the food. The mucus protect the walls of saliva from the action of the acid. Then the food passes into the small intestine. In the upper part of small intestine, which is known as a duodenum, the food is mixed with the bile from the liver and pancreatic juice from the pancreas. Bile breaks down the fats into the smaller globules. The pancreatic juice contains the enzymes trypsin and lipase. Trypsin breaks down proteins and lipase break down the fats. So, in the small intestine, the glands of in case of small intestine, the walls of small intestine produces intestinal juice. The enzymes of intestinal juice converts carbohydrate into glucose and fats into fatty acids, and the glycerol and the enzymes of intestinal juice converts carbohydrates into glucose, fats into fatty acids and glycerols, and proteins into amino acids. The walls of small intestine has several finger-like projection which are known as a villi, having blood vessels. It helps to increase the surface area of absorption of digested food. The digested food is absorbed by the blood and transported to the cells into the body. Then the undigested food passes into the large intestine. In case of large intestine, water is get absorbed and then waste material is get removed out through the anus. So, this is all about the human alimentary canal and human digestive system. It is nutrition in human beings. So, next part is a process of respiration, which we will study in the next PowerPoint presentation.